Right, so you heard what he said, right? He didn't mention the word Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson and Johnson, and all the rest of them, right?
Right, but wasn't his the vaccine Johnson and Johnson?
Sorry?
Wasn't his vaccine? Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, wasn't his vaccine the Johnson and Johnson one? I'm not sure.
No. What he's saying is that the vaccine, okay, he's talking about, because don't forget, what did Trump do to cure his COVID? He did that publicly. It was the HCQ, it was the Regeneron. He mentioned those things. Right?
Correct. Right.
Okay. So then what he said, well, I'm glad that since Warp Speed was a military operation, he mentioned the Spanish flu, an interesting hypothesis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's look about the Spanish flu. Did a vaccine experiment on US soldiers cause the Spanish flu? Right?
Interesting.
That's what it was all about. Right? Spain was neutral during World War I and did not censor its press, unlike the combating countries. As a result, Spain was the first to report the 1918 flu epidemic, and the world scapegoated Spain as its source. Right?
Okay.
That's why they called it the Spanish influenza. That's right. That's exactly right. And that's why we need to pay attention when Trump talks, because he talks in code. You know? Pay real attention. Because don't forget, he has to remain neutral, because if you can imagine, if he came out there and started saying things against the vax, you'll be
eat him alive.
demonized. Yeah,
demonized. It's his fault. These people, and then they would have upped it. They would have upped the ante and blamed all the deaths on him. So in other words, by him playing their game, it set him off. They fumbled the ball because they didn't know what to do because he was playing their game.
Yeah, that's right. He's had to play the game. He's had to play the game. And, you know, the thing is, people say, but there's so many deaths. And I said, well, you know, look at this. There was only two plants. One was for the whiteouts to go full force, while the cabal had access to the nukes that could nuke everything, and it's game over. Well, number two was the Q plan, which everything has to happen organically. And that's exactly what we do, you know, where we're at. So, and obviously in any war, you're going to have casualties. Mainstream media, drip by drip, is coming to a flood now. Okay. Twitter sparked it off. Okay. People are starting to see the truth come out. But the white hats are doing it in a way, because if they do it too quick, it's going to cause pandemonium. People are going to go and lose the plot, so to speak. Mm-hmm. There's going to be riots. There's going to be people hunting politicians down, wanting blood, shooting bloody doctors for jabbing them. Can you imagine being a parent and you jab your child with the poison and you found out that that's poison? How's that going to make you feel?
As from what I can tell right now, FCB, and I'm sure you can agree with me, with what we're seeing with the Twitter drops, everything happening, all the floodgates opening up, this is the beginning of the awakening of the normies to where they'll get on board for these, let's say, public executions.
Yeah, that's right.
They'll demand justice. Right. But first, they got to see how we were mistreated. So there's going to be so much more coming out. Do you think Twitter is going to be the only avenue? Or do you think the rest will be EBS? It would have to be Twitter.
I think, well, look, we've been seeing a lot of things come out, right? Mainstream media, drip by drip, is coming to a flood now. Okay.
I had one of the auditors for the vaccine on my show, and she said one of the main components of this vaccine is called luciferase.
That's right. Under Revelations 18:23. And, you know, it says that even the light from a lamp will never shine in you again. What do we see when people take the jab? It's like the light goes out of them.
You're so right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The voices of the bridegroom and the bride will never be heard again. So, you know, the joy in the world will be going, because there will be people dying everywhere. And it says here, for your merchants were the tycoons of the world, because all the nations We're deceived by your magic spells or sorcery, right?
Yep.
So what that means in Greek, right? What they did was, because the Bible was written in Greek, they had the word pharmakia, and they translated that to being sorcery. Now, pharmakia in Greek,
pharmaceutical.
correct.
Interesting.
Correct.